Hello everybody and welcome to another fly tying session with your host Scott. In this session we're going to be tying a fly known as the Mop Fly. Now I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to represent, if I'm honest. There was a few clues on the internet that it might represent a Caddis Larvae, but to be honest with you the colours are nowhere near. This is going to be tied as a Carp Fly. I did actually test it out yesterday and it worked very well indeed. I think it may actually work without bait in the water. This fly can also be used to catch trout, probably more likely rainbow trout, and it's tied using the bead as a thorax in this particular one. This is a 3.3mm bead, brass bead. I've done them in a variety of colours, but this is the colour that worked yesterday, so I thought we'd do it on the video. We're using a B110 in size 10, which is a heavy wire, a buzzer hook, and I've squeezed the barb down using the vice. We're going to need a uni thread in red, and the main ingredient is this stuff. This is a Mop Chenille. You can buy it on a string. However, I found it cheaper and easier to buy it from various stores that sell either dusters or car mitts, car washing mitts. That's the other source of that particular chenille. So we're also going to need a hackle for it. We tie the hackle in front of the bead. This is a natural red cock cape, and that's pretty much all there is to it. There isn't that much to this fly. So we're going to come in and we're going to lay down a layer of thread the same width as the bead, and then we're going to prepare the chenille. So I've already got one cut off here. I'm going to strip it so that the bit that's going to be tied onto the hook is 1.5 centimeters long. So there's only that much left on this particular chenille. The other ones I've got are much longer. So you basically pull from the end to expose the string, and you're going to tie it in by the string. Now that's really important with this particular chenille because it's very bulky stuff. There we go. And that's just the right length there. And then offer it up to the hook with the string exposed like so. Chuck a loose turn in and then tighten up. And then you want to tighten all the way down to the bead. And then come back up and tidy up a bit. You can leave the string on if you want to. It would probably be a bit stronger if you did. But you want it so that the bead sits tight over there, which it does now. Okay. There is a bit of excess I'm going to trim away. I'll do it, and then we're going to chuck in a whip finish. I've started to get on with my rotary one now with a lot of practice. There we go, that's much better. And then we're going to trim away. Yeah, I've had a bit of practice with it lately. Basically I've tied myself a box full of spiders, 108 of them altogether. I'm going to go and fish them later on. We're going to go and fish the River Vernway for trout, and you're going to restart your thread in front of the bead. And you're going to get a suitably sized hackle feather. That'll probably do us. I'm going to trim away the fluff at the stalk end. Offer it up to the hook and tie it in. Now trim off about a head length away from the eye. And create a nice base for the feather. And then get some hackle pliers of your choice. And you just want to wind as many turns as you can get in on there basically. It doesn't have to be massively neat. It's not a dry fly hackle, so it's just there to look like legs, I would assume. Now this pattern I actually found on the internet. I thought, well, that looks alright, but the original's tied with the orange, an orange bead and an orange body. I knew our carp liked the red version of it, so because I tied a few using normal chenille a few years ago now, probably a couple of summers ago, yeah, and they were taking those quite readily. So you just want to brush the ones that are hanging over the front back between finger and thumb. There's one come forward there. That's it, just flick it out with your dubbing needle. And then start to build a nice neat head. Go back a bit, there we go. Don't need too big the head. That'll do us, I think. And then whip finish. Yeah, I'm definitely getting better with that. Until this year I used to half hitch everything, so we're not doing too bad. There we go. And that's sort of what we're going for. That is a Mop Fly in red. I'm going to varnish to finish. Move that bead back a bit. That's it. And there we are, folks. That is the Mop Fly. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.